something that could prove to you, beyond doubt, that imagination is the one true creative power. For years, I've given my students exactly this, a strange, almost playful little exercise, powerful enough to compel your subconscious to produce an event in your life, an event your conscious, rational mind might swear it doesn't want. I call it the ladder experiment. It has nothing to do with affirmations, nothing to do with positive thinking. It's a genuine psychological test, designed to hand you undeniable personal proof of this law, usually in the most startling and often funniest way imaginable. Today, we won't just walk through this foundational experiment. We'll take its core principle and apply it directly to one of humanity's most common desires, the sudden, unexpected arrival of money. So listen closely, because the secret to opening a flow of abundance might be as simple as feeling yourself climb a ladder. Before we begin, I want you to understand why I still teach this exercise after all these years, long after my students have grown old and their children have grown old. It's because logic can be argued with, a lecture can be forgotten, but an experience, a strange, personal, undeniable experience that happens to you in your own life within a matter of days cannot be argued away so easily. That's the gift of the ladder experiment. It doesn't ask you to believe anything on my word. It hands you the proof yourself, cooked fresh in the kitchen of your own days. The experiment itself is deceptively simple, and that simplicity is exactly where its power lies. I'd give my students two seemingly contradictory instructions. First, I'd say, every night for the next 3 nights, as you're drifting off to sleep, imagine one simple thing. Feel yourself climbing a ladder. Don't just picture it. Feel it. Feel the wooden rungs under your palms. Feel the muscles in your arms and legs working. Climb up, then climb down. Loop this simple physical motion again and again until it takes on the texture of reality, until you fall asleep mid-climb. That was the first instruction, carried out entirely in imagination. Then came the second instruction, this one to be carried out in the physical world. I'd tell them, take several pieces of paper and write, in bold letters, this simple phrase, I will not climb a ladder. Post these signs everywhere in your home where you'll see them constantly. Your bathroom mirror, your fridge, beside your bed. Let your conscious, rational mind be bombarded all day long with the command that you will not climb a ladder. Do you see the beautiful contradiction we've set up here? The conscious mind, the intellect, is being told one thing, I will not. Meanwhile, the subconscious, the actual creative power, is being fed the feeling of an action already underway, the act of climbing. The whole point of the experiment is to reveal which of these two actually rules, your conscious intention and willpower, or your sustained, feeling-charged imaginal act. I want to pause here and note something my students almost always missed the first time through. Notice that neither instruction asks you to want to climb a ladder. In fact, the entire premise is built on the opposite, a firm, written, repeated decision that you will not. This is important because so many people believe that manifestation requires desire, longing, even obsession. This experiment proves otherwise. It proves that what governs your experience isn't what you want on the surface, or even what you insist upon with your willpower. It's the scene you privately, quietly rehearse in that drowsy state just before sleep. Nothing more and nothing less. And the results? Almost without fail, within days, my students would return, shocked and often laughing. One told me, Neville, it was the strangest thing. I ended up helping my neighbor get his cat out of a tree, and he handed me a ladder. Another said, I was at a bookstore, and the book I wanted was up on the top shelf. The clerk rolled over a little library ladder and said, Here, use this. A third came to me, almost indignant, as though I'd played a trick on her. She'd taken a temporary job at a warehouse that week for extra income, and on her very first shift, her supervisor handed her a stepladder and asked her to restock the top shelves. She hadn't even connected it to the experiment until she was 3 rungs up. Every single one of them, despite consciously deciding not to, found themselves in a perfectly natural, unforeseen situation where climbing a ladder became unavoidable. What strikes me most, even now, is how ordinary each fulfillment looked from the outside. None of these students summoned a ladder out of thin air, or found themselves in some bizarre, impossible circumstance. The world simply rearranged its ordinary furniture: a neighbor's cat, a high shelf, a supervisor's request, until a ladder appeared naturally in the path of an otherwise unremarkable day. This is the great tell of the law at work. It doesn't perform miracles that defy the world. It quietly, patiently, logically assembles the world you've already accepted in feeling. This is the proof. Your subconscious mind isn't moved by logical declarations. It's moved by the feeling of an action, the reality of an experience, built and sustained inside your own wonderful human imagination. Now let's dig deeper, because this experiment was never really about ladders. The ladder is just a symbol, a device revealing a fundamental law of consciousness. Why did every one of those students end up climbing a ladder despite deciding consciously against it? The answer lies in understanding your subconscious mind's true nature. Your subconscious is the builder. It's the womb of creation. But it's entirely impersonal, and it doesn't operate on logic. It operates on feeling and assumption. The conscious mind, the part of you that wrote, "I will not climb a ladder," is the gatekeeper. It's the logical, analytical, reasoning mind. It lives in a world built on facts and evidence. It holds real power in the world of Caesar, but it isn't the creative power itself. The imaginal act of climbing, performed in that drowsy state akin to sleep, slipped right past this gatekeeper. In that receptive twilight state, you're speaking directly to the subconscious. And what language did you use? Not words of negation, not willpower. You gave it a vivid sensory experience, the feeling of an action already happening. To the subconscious, an imaginal act felt with conviction is no different from a physical one. It accepts the feeling as fact. So while your conscious mind stayed busy insisting no, your subconscious had already accepted the blueprint of climbing. And because your subconscious governs your intuitive urges, your impulses, and the natural unfolding of events in your life, it began moving you through time and circumstance, building a perfectly logical bridge of incidents, leading toward the one experience that would fulfill its instructions, a ladder that needed climbing. This is the great secret. You don't need to talk yourself into believing something. You don't need to fight your own rational skepticism. You simply need to hand your subconscious a clear, feeling-rich imaginal act, and it will do the rest of the work for you. It will rearrange heaven and earth to make your inner world into fact. The ladder was the proof. There's a second, quieter lesson buried in this experiment too, one worth sitting with. Notice that the students didn't have to figure out how the ladder would arrive. They didn't strategize, network, or search. They simply performed the inner act and released it. The how was never their department. That's the builder's job, not the dreamer's. So much unnecessary suffering comes from trying to do the subconscious's work with the conscious mind, straining to see the mechanism, plotting the exact sequence of events. The experiment teaches you, gently but unmistakably, to let go of the how, the moment you've claimed the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Now let's put this principle to profitable use. How do we take this ladder trick and apply it toward manifesting not a simple physical action, but an unexpected flow of money and abundance into our lives? We follow the exact same principle. We bypass the conscious mind's objections about how the money could possibly arrive, and instead hand the subconscious a simple, sensory-rich scene, implying the money has already come. Do not, I repeat, do not try to imagine the end result itself in the abstract, like a mountain of cash or some grand title on a door. That's too static, too enormous, and your rational mind will simply reject it. The secret lies in simplicity. You need a small, personal, human action, implying the end result is already accomplished fact. Tonight, and for the next 7 nights, I want you to try a new experiment. Choose one of the following imaginal acts, whichever resonates most deeply with you. In your imagination, as you drift towards sleep, you're holding a single crisp sheet of paper. Not just any letter, it feels official, weighty. Maybe it's from a bank, a law firm, a government office. Your eyes aren't drawn to the fine print, but to one bold line near the bottom, confirming a sum of money has been paid to you. A sum so significant, your heart leaps with joy. Don't just see the number, feel what it represents. It's the feeling of a slate wiped clean, the feeling of total freedom, the quiet, breathtaking realization, it's done. It's finally over. You fold the paper slowly, a deep and quiet peace washing through you. That feeling of finality and relief, that's your scene. Loop that feeling until sleep takes you. This one's for any desire depending on someone else's approval or agreement. A job offer, a contract, a proposal, a sale. In your imagination, don't replay the whole conversation. Focus on a single moment. Right after they've given their answer, you hear their voice, clear as day, saying the one word you've been longing for. Yes. Or maybe, of course, we'd be honored to have you. Or, the deal is yours. Don't let the scene continue past this. Just let that single word or phrase echo in the quiet of your mind. Yes, yes, yes. Feel the wave of warmth, validation, and victory wash over you. Not excitement exactly. A deep, satisfying click, like a piece of your life snapping perfectly into place. The sound of that yes, and the feeling of the door to your future swinging wide open. That's your lullaby. This one's for those drawn to the idea of a sudden, joyful windfall. A lottery, a contest, something along those lines. But don't imagine the drawing itself. That implies uncertainty. Instead, jump straight to the end. In your imagination, you're holding a newspaper or looking at an official notice. Your eyes scan the list, and then, there it is. Your name, your number, confirmed, real. Don't focus on the size of the prize. Focus on that single, electric instant of confirmation. Feel the sudden jolt in your stomach, the sharp intake of breath, the beat of stunned silence right before overwhelming joy rushes in. Feel your hand trembling slightly as you read your name over and over. That one explosive moment. It's real. I've actually won. That's your scene. Live inside that instant of confirmed victory and drift off to sleep in that dizzy, joyful shock. I'll offer you a 4th scene, one I've come to love for its sheer plainness. In your imagination, you're doing something utterly mundane, checking a balance, glancing at a statement, tapping open an app on your phone. There's no drama here, no fanfare. You simply glance down and see a number that wasn't there before. A number that tells you, without any doubt, that the abundance you've longed for has quietly arrived while you weren't looking. Feel the small, private smile that crosses your face. Feel your shoulders drop, the tension of scarcity leaving your body in one long, easy breath. This scene works precisely because it feels so unremarkable, so believable, so close to something that could simply happen on an ordinary Tuesday. Sometimes the quietest scenes are the ones the subconscious accepts fastest, because they ask so little of your disbelief. Choose your ladder, whether it's the feel of an official notice, the sound of a triumphant yes, the shock of a confirmed win, or the quiet glance at a number that wasn't there before. Commit to it fully. Don't analyze it. Don't question where the money will come from. Your only job is to faithfully perform this simple imaginal act each night, and let the master builder inside you construct the bridge of incidents, leading to its fulfillment. I know some of you, even now, are sitting with a familiar objection rising in your chest. But Neville, what if I don't fully believe it while I'm imagining it? Let me put that worry to rest, the same way I always have. Belief, in the way most people mean it, isn't required. What's required is feeling, the sensory, embodied feeling of the scene, held for even a minute or two in that drowsy state before sleep. Remember, the students in the ladder experiment didn't believe they'd climb a ladder. Many of them were actively trying to prevent it with their signs and their willpower. And still, the law did its work. The feeling reached the subconscious, regardless of what the conscious mind believed about the outcome. Let that comfort you the next time doubt creeps in during your practice. Your job isn't to convince yourself intellectually. Your job is only to feel the scene as vividly as you can, for as long as you can, and let go. And so the secret reveals itself. The ladder experiment was never truly about ladders. It was about proving to you that a sustained imaginal act is a genuinely creative act, a command your subconscious is compelled to obey. You don't need more belief. You don't need more willpower. You need only a simple sensory scene, implying your desire is already fulfilled, and the willingness to occupy that scene in imagination until it feels real. That's the whole trick. That's the entire law, in practice. Now I'll leave you with a challenge, a 7-day experiment in conscious creation. Choose your ladder for unexpected money tonight. Commit to it for 7 consecutive nights. Live inside that imaginal act as you fall asleep. During the day, don't go looking for it. Don't grow anxious. Simply carry a quiet inner expectancy, the same relaxed certainty you might feel about a package already shipped and on its way to your door. You don't check the window every 5 minutes. You simply know it's coming, and you go about your day. And I invite you, I challenge you, to come back to this very space and share what happened. Let's turn this place into a living testament to this powerful, practical law. Tell me about the check that arrived from a source you'd forgotten about. Tell me about the refund you weren't expecting, the gift, the unexpected freelance job, the small windfall that made you stop and think, wait, didn't I just imagine something like this? These stories, collected together, become their own kind of proof, not just for you, but for everyone who reads them after you. What you've learned today is more than a technique for manifesting money. It's a key unlocking a new way of living, a life where you're no longer a creature of circumstance, but the conscious, deliberate creator of your own magnificent reality. The ladder stands before you. Will you climb? Now, let us go into the silence. This is Neville Lectures. I will see you in the next video.